Somewhere right now a bird is dying. Not from a predator, not from starvation. From something we built with our own hands and never once thought of as a weapon. A window. Every year up to 1 billion birds are killed by glass. Not cars, not cats, not pollution. Glass. Ordinary panes on ordinary buildings in ordinary neighborhoods all over the world. It's one of the largest human-caused killers of birds on the planet, and almost nobody talks about it. That number should stop you cold. These are creatures that cross entire oceans without a map. Arctic terns migrate from pole to pole. Bar-tailed godwits fly 11,000 kilometers non-stop over open water, guided only by the Earth's magnetic field and the stars. And yet, that same bird can die flying into the side of a suburban house. How does an animal wired with that kind of built-in GPS fail to notice something as simple as a window? The answer isn't that birds are blind or careless or bad at flying. The truth is stranger than that. Birds can see glass perfectly well. What they can't do is understand it. To a bird, glass doesn't register as a barrier, it registers as an extension of the world around it. A clear pane on a sunroom or walkway doesn't look like an obstacle. It looks like open air, because on the other side, that's often exactly what there is. A garden, a courtyard, more sky. Reflective glass is even more convincing. On a bright day, a glass office tower doesn't look like a building at all. It looks like a mirror image of the forest standing in front of it, trees, clouds, sky, rendered in perfect, deceptive detail. A bird flying at full speed doesn't have time to question what it's seeing. It just sees sky and it flies toward it. Here's where it gets interesting, because this isn't really a mistake. It's a gap in the programming. For over 65 million years, birds evolved in a world that never contained large transparent or reflective surfaces. Water reflects the sky too, but water behaves differently. It ripples. It sits low. It doesn't stretch 20 stories into the air shaped like a solid wall. Nothing in nature ever taught a bird's brain to ask, wait, is this actually solid? Evolution builds instinct around threats that have existed long enough to shape survival. Glass at this scale has existed for barely a century. In evolutionary time, that's not even a blink. Birds simply haven't caught up. Their vision makes this even trickier. Birds actually see more of the world than we do, a wider field of view, and the ability to detect ultraviolet light invisible to human eyes. In some ways, their vision outperforms ours. But more visual information doesn't mean better judgment about solid versus empty space. A bird's brain reacts to what it sees almost instantly, trusting the image in front of it completely. And glass is designed, quite literally, to not look like anything. Architects prize it for being seamless and invisible, which is exactly what makes it so lethal. The danger spikes at specific times of year, and for a long time, nobody understood why. Migration season brings a massive surge in window strikes, and scientists eventually traced it to light. Migratory birds often travel at night, navigating by the moon and stars. Bright city skylines disrupt that system entirely, pulling birds off course and drawing them into dense urban areas thick with glass. Disoriented and exhausted, they circle illuminated buildings for hours. By dawn, they're surrounded by windows they still can't recognize as solid. A navigation system built for starlight, hijacked by skyscrapers. For decades, this crisis barely registered. A dead bird beneath a building was written off as a rare, unlucky accident. It wasn't until researchers began systematically walking city blocks at dawn, counting bodies beneath tower after tower, that the true scale came into focus. This wasn't rare. It was constantly happening in every city, every season, every single day. So what do you do about a problem this size? You can't rewire a bird's brain, but you can redesign the glass. That's exactly what's happening now. Architects are applying patterns to glass. Dots, lines, and etch textures spaced closely enough that birds read them as a solid barrier instead of open space. Some manufacturers use UV-reflective coatings, invisible to us but clearly visible to birds. Cities have launched lights-out programs, dimming skyscrapers during peak migration to stop birds from being pulled off course in the first place. Some of the most bird-safe buildings in the world look completely ordinary to us because the fix isn't meant for our eyes. It's meant for theirs. And you don't need a skyscraper to make a difference. If you have a window at home that reflects trees or sky, the fix is simple. Break up the reflection. Decals, screens, even strips of tape spaced a few inches apart are enough to tell a bird, this is solid. It costs almost nothing, and it can save a life you'll never even know was at risk. In the end, glass was never meant to be dangerous. We built it to let in light, to dissolve the line between indoors and out, to make our homes feel open to the world. We succeeded, almost too well. We built one of the most convincing illusions in nature, and never once warned the one species most likely to fly straight into it. Birds aren't failing to see the world clearly. We built a version of the sky that isn't real and asked millions of years of instinct to somehow already know the difference. If this made you look at your own windows a little differently, that's the point. Look around your home. Is there a window that reflects trees or open sky? That's a bird strike waiting to happen. Simple fixes exist, and they take minutes. If you want to see how other cities and homeowners are solving this, hit subscribe. This channel breaks down the hidden systems shaping our world, one overlooked story at a time.